Hi everyone. I hope you're well. Um, yeah, all those nice things that we say when we meet each other. Yeah, blah 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 blah. We can start. So this video is really gonna introduce you, um, to R&R Studio, the specific things within R&R Studio. So this will not cover installation because I believe you would have installed it by now, and you would have. Let me close this, and you'd have been set up. What I'll do is I'll send you links to two other videos that would like introduce you to R Studio and R Markdown, installing them. So in case you have any problems, um, you can like watch those to like help you figure out and like learn how to navigate. But what I'll do is like a real intro to using the tools. And so we'll be working with R Studio and R Markdown, and these are just like layers on top of each other. So the original layer is R, which is like the engine that your code runs through. So I'm sure you worked with Python or like Java before, and what happens is you end up like installing like an engine. So Python works in an engine, and Java works with the SDK, and you like, so that's one level, and then you get an IDE like I think Dr. Java, we use Dr. Java, or like Sublime Text, or Atom, or yeah, any of those things, and NetBeans. So all those are IDEs that allow us to type code and like run the code and like see the outputs. So basically, RStudio is their version of that, and R Markdown is a package within RStudio, which allows us to work within RStudio in what I think is a very nice and very presentable way. So we'll get straight to it. So what I'll do, so our studio is here, and I'll just open it like that and put it in full screen mode. And this, oh, okay, so you are seeing my personal files. Interesting, 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 interesting. Okay, so when you open up our studio, so the way to get started, which you see in other videos, is you just, I'm sure you use Windows, so you come to File, and then New File in R script, and then you would click on that, and let me just close this because we can use this one. Click on that, and you get this view, right? And don't worry, it's not scary. It's actually very friendly. So what you have here is four parts, and I'll go through them one by one. So um, where the cursor is right now, where I'm typing in the gibberish, is is really where you end up like typing your code. So it's where the script will be run. So you remember that we opened an R script, right? Um, yeah, so this is where we'd end up typing code, and it's good mainly because of this run button, right? So with this, you can end up like typing many lines of code before you run them. So if is equal to 3, no, if y is equal to 3, Mali is equal to 2, Kojo is equal to the mean. I hope this works. If y Mali. Okay. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so what this gives you is a place where you can type in code, and like you can see the lines here, and it's like when you click run, it runs everything, right? So we'll come back to that later. On the other hand, you have this section here, right? Yeah, through an arrow. So what this is the R console, which is the base of R, right? So in essence, what R Studio does is that when you type in code here, it compiles everything and passes it on through here, right? And runs it. But basically, this is like terminal. It's like um, it's a version of like terminal Oh, what's that thing called? It's a version of like terminal or command prompt in Windows, right? Where you type in line by line and then end up like running code one by one. Right, so this is the base. If you've ever used R in class, I remember when I was using R in class, this is how it came. But yeah, you can do all kinds of things here, which is basically the same as what you'd have done on top, just that you are working line by line and can be a bit cumbersome and it's very hard to edit after you've done it, right? But it's also good because like, you can end up scrolling up and we'll see more about that. So enough of that. So what we have on the other side is we have our global environment, right? Where you get to see every single object you've created. So remember I typed in if was equal to 3 as a variable. If I run this, what you see is that if what has come here. Does that make sense? And if I run mul is equal to 2, mul is equal to 2, it comes here. And if I do kujo is equal to mean of if we're mauli, that works, right? So kujo, yeah. So yeah, so it puts the mean there. I'm surprised that the mean is 3. I think it is working in integers, whatever. Um, so yeah, so that's how that works. So you can see all the variables here, and it's very useful. So if I can just show you, it's useful for inspecting things that you've done. So what I have here is um, a data set that I was working with in my previous assignment. So I'll just open it up. So by why isn't this? Hmm, that's interesting. Anyway, so yeah, we are all still learning. But you can catch me for this later. Um, Typically, when you have data frames, which is like having a table like how you have in Excel, you can like open it up here. Oh, it says values. Okay, okay, so it says values here. So these are just like values that have been stored. So forgive me. So yeah, um, yeah, so what you have here is you get to see every variable you've created, and like when you have data frames you can like just double click them from here and see where they are. You can also see the values here. So if you've created a variable somewhere along the line and it's not making sense, maybe some assignments were done. So let's say you created a4 to be 3, but somewhere you do some calculation and a4 becomes 2. Instead of like reading all your code to understand why the variable a4 is messing up, you can just come here and like check and see that, oh, even though you made it, even though you're expecting it to be 3, it is 2, and then you can like target it. So it's also good for error checking. And then you have this last section here, which is a multi-viewer window. And what the good thing about it is like, so this is where you receive a lot of the output, and it's also a place where you also interact. So okay, so it's an interaction zone, right? You get to like look through like particular files that you're looking for, so that you know how to pick certain files that you're looking for. You can also see plots you generate, and we'll look here a bit. Um, the packages window is another like very important place. So the good thing about R is that for a lot of like this, the heavy math and statistics that you'd have to do as a data scientist, a lot of things have been done for you. So think about it like a library in in Java, or a module in Python, right? A lot of things have already been done for us. And so, for example, let me look for one that is, okay, so this time series. No, okay. So, for example, there's this package called FPP2. Yeah, so FPP2. So, someone wrote a textbook, right? And he talks a lot about stats, right? But he wrote a package that like makes a lot of the time series analysis, like the statistics behind time series analysis, very easy because he's packed all his packages into this. right? So like he's also put data there as well, and like it's very good in making the work easy. So what you'd have had to write a full function for an R, you have a package where you can like just type in one line of code and just like that you're done, right? You'll be using this a lot, right? And then there's also like the help viewer, so you can see some of the things I was learning. And so just to give you an example, so I'm coming back to my console, right? And if I say there's a function that I don't really understand that I need help with, all I do is like question mark, and let's see, you see, we use a main function here, which is inbuilt into R. So let's say I don't understand what mean is, or someone use it, or I want to use it and I don't know how. You put question mark and then mean, open and close bracket, like a function, and press enter. And what you see here is that it gives you an explanation of what the the function is, and it tells you what kind of arguments go in and what kind of, oh okay, so it trimmed it, so I shall put this to false. Okay, anyway, so it gives you like the arguments that go in and then the way it handles values, right? And so this help side is also very useful, and I barely use the viewer side, so we're gonna talk about that. So, so by looking at help, now I understand why is the mean of F1 Maudi is not 2.5, but it's rather 2, because there's a there's an argument here that I didn't pass through, right? Um, so by default, the argument trim here is on, and so what it did is that it shaved the it rounded it up to take care of the how do you call it, the decimal place. So what I can do here is redo the mean, redo the Kojo, redo Kojo. But oh okay. Okay, so let me do this. Okay. So like you can see, it's very hard to edit. It's like I left out a bracket and I had to redo all of this. Okay. So I fixed it, right? So yeah, I saw that I was passing Mauli as a an argument, but Mauli is not supposed to be an argument. That's why I didn't have the correct value. So I realized that I had to combine them into one object, which is what I do with a C. Don't pay attention to this. I'm going off track. Yeah. So this is really how you use R and R Markdown. R and R Studio. And so what I want you to do now really would be to install R Markdown, and I'll explain why it's important, right? And while we are doing this, we can learn another thing. So so one thing, like I mentioned, packages are really important when you're using R. It's like the reason why people use R. So what you'd have to do is come here, right, in the packages place, and like just click install. So what you can do is you can install any package that's been produced by anybody. Okay. Um, and you'll be able to take advantage of all those things that they have going for them. So what you would have to do if you're installing the packages, if you know the name of the package, all you have to do is click install here, have this pop-up window open, and then you type in the name of the package. So what you would have to do is install R Markdown. So you type in R Markdown, and you see that the options will come in. You can just like click and make sure this is always turned on, install dependencies, and click install. And you see that it will actually automatically load it up from the internet. And so if you look at my console, it's doing all of those things. And now when it's installed, you'd see that it gives you a message that says that downloaded, and shows you how much space it's taking up, and then It shows you the location of the package you've installed. You don't have to worry about the location of the package, but yeah, you don't have to worry about that. And then after you install a package, you just look for it in the list here. So we installed our Markdown, and you click on our Markdown, and that's it. You've activated a package, and so everything to do with our Markdown is great. And I'll show you the good thing about our Markdown. So our Markdown gives you a different kind of it gives you a different kind of interface to type your code. So you know how we had scripts? Our Markdown is way better, and I'll show you how. So we come as though we're opening a new file, and then under our script, which is where we went to first, we do the our Markdown file, and you get this pop-up window. So we type analytics 101. Okay, and what you see here is really amazing. What you see here is that it gives you this output, and you'd end up seeing the value of all of this later. And then on top of that, it gives you this interface that you can work on, and like this is just your introductory one, so it doesn't like you don't have to worry about this. We can take all of this off, right? And then we can work from here. But the difference between this and then the R script, or like previously the R notebook, is that, so let me just undo, is that when you use R Markdown, your code is in chunks, right? And so you get to run different sections of codes differently, which is amazing. So you have a chunk like this, and you can run the part of you can run this chunk. So the chunk is always going to be highlighted in gray. And what you can do is you can just like run this, right? And then it gives you the output down here. Right, so you can do so much work and like interact with it as a interface for you to actually code. And you can also like do this and see your plots here, right? Also, you can see your code, your outputs in different ways. So whether it's a table or whether it's this, you can see all of that in our Markdown. And you're gonna see the really cool thing soon. So when you finish with our Markdown, the beautiful thing is you can knit it, right? You can knit everything into one document. And without talking much, let me just show you what that is. So I'll come to this button that you see here. It's called knit. Click down, and then you can knit to HTML. Let me do this here. So analytics 01. Let me see. So what has happened is that it has knitted everything, and close. That's preparing for you. You can see is you have this HTML file that you can share with anybody. So you don't have, like, it's a very good way of, like, for me it's a very good way of submitting my assignments, right? But it's also a very good way of like visualizing and sharing with other people. And like people can see code, and like they know what is going on. And like as someone who's like going to be into analytics, it's one thing to do the code and everything, but it's another thing to be able to communicate what you've done, right? And so it's very important that we are able to get things into formats that are very easily digested by others. Okay, so that's about it. I would say that what I would love for you to do now is to make sure that you have our studio and our Markdown put together, and yeah, we'll be good to go. So this is the end of this recording. So you should be able to like do basic things, and I'll send you a second video that we can start doing other basic things in. So this is just to get you started. I did the opposite of what I wanted to do, but it's fine. I'll send another video. Okay. Don't want to put